Now they'll move it to Axe. Look, in the middle, dunk score. The roommates. Ridge to Mormando.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Edvative Learning. If you are an education major or anyone considering a career in teaching, you won't want to miss this. Edvative Learning is an innovative educational consulting company that is revolutionizing the way aspiring teachers prepare for their careers. As a proud sponsor of the Lax Lounge podcast and Cabrini lacrosse, Edvative is here to help you take your teaching aspirations to new heights. Edvative offers a comprehensive one-on-one coaching program tailored specifically for those interested in entering the teaching profession. With Edvative's coaching program, you'll receive personalized guidance and support to help you succeed in your career. They provide mock interviews, guided job searches, resume optimization, and much more. Their team of experienced educators and career coaches will equip you with the skills and knowledge needed to excel in the competitive world of teaching. One of the most incredible aspects of Edvative's coaching program is their guarantee. Yes, you heard it right. They guarantee at least one job offer within the first 3 months of coaching. That's an amazing opportunity you don't want to miss. For just $250 per month, Edvative guarantees that you will receive at least one job offer. Imagine the peace of mind knowing that your investment in coaching will lead to tangible results. It's an offer you can't afford to pass up. So whether you're a current education major, a recent graduate, or someone looking to make a career change into teaching, Edvative Learning is here to support you and guide you in every step of the way. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to secure your job as a teacher. Visit their website at www.edvative.com to learn more about their coaching program and how they can help you kickstart your teaching career. Once again, that is www.edvative.com.
On today's episode of the Lax Lounge, we sit down and talk with our teammate Corbin Carraghan. If you're a loyal Lax Lounge listener, you might recognize his voice from our outro, as he is the inspiration behind our sign-off, shout out Juulz. We talk a bit about how he got into producing music and a bit about his process, as well as some of our favorite artists currently. From there, we do a big recap of all of us as coaches, with us finishing up the summer lacrosse tournament circuit. Then we have Corbin recap his career at Cabrini, which started back in 2019 when he had to watch from a distance as the team won the national championship. His career has been full of ups and downs and great lessons that he shared with us throughout the interview. Finally, we end with a draft of home-cooked meals that you won't want to miss. As always, make sure to follow us on Instagram and check out our merch on our website, laxloungeinc.com. Don't forget to vote down below for who you think won the draft, and let's get into the episode.
What up,
Gentlemen?
YouTube?
It is good
What's
to
up,
see
fellas?
both of you guys. Corbin, welcome in to the Lax Lounge. How we feeling?
Feeling good, guys. I'm glad to be a part of the show and glad to be part of the podcast. Been a fan, been listening since the first one came out. Got to support Cabrini Lax,
Yeah.
one last ride, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's kind of upsetting that you're not actually in the lounge. That sucks. It's always gonna suck.
We do have one person in the lounge right now. Nick, actually,
do.
if you're watching on YouTube, he is live from the lounge. You can see the Stratton Oakmont flag. That is
Yes, sir.
signature of the Lax Lounge living room that we have in our apartment.
It won't be though. Coming soon, because we have new releases on the website. We do have a last ride shirt, as well as a last ride flag, and I believe there also is a framed picture on there if someone desires a framed picture. So
Well, everyone's going to want and need to have
And-
that.
it's going to be there. We're putting it up. Gonna order it. So
It's going to be amazing. I actually just found that out right now, and I am stoked. So that's going to be sick. But
Yes, sir.
we got bigger fish to fry here. So you might have heard Corbin before, possibly because he's been brought up, I think in the Dylan McManus episode, he talked about him. But at the end of every episode, we have our thing. We shout out our favorite artists. And spoiler alert for all of you in the audience, that's actually Corbin the entire time. So Corbin, aka Juulz. Let's start right there. Like, when did you really get into? Because we're the Lax Lounge. We'll talk lacrosse later, but when did you get into music? Because you've kind of been popping off, and throughout the year, it's always fun to kind of see when we have our favorite Juulz song come on in the locker room or on the bus, and everyone just starts rocking out to it. So when did that all start?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, in middle school, I was in chorus and choir. So my 7th and 8th grade year, I was in chorus and choir. But then, I didn't really keep up with it my first few years in high school. But then my senior year came around, and it was like that time of the year, I guess, for SoundCloud rappers to start like popping off. So Trippie Redd, Juice WRLD, Lil Uzi, like Lil Pump, like the thing to do was to be like a SoundCloud rapper. So as a joke for my senior lunch table, uh, we came up with the idea that I was gonna become, like the next SoundCloud rapper, like just to be funny, like as a joke. So yeah, like I remember I made like this whole Twitter and everything, like of a poll of like what my name should be and like everything like that. And uh yeah, my name to start was Lil Juulz, which is funny, but I just shortened it to Juulz, so that's kind of where it came from, a poll, my name. So, but ever since then, I kind of, just fell in love with making music. I don't know. I just, I started off uh doing it as a joke, so like the quality and stuff was not very good at all. And to be honest with you, I didn't put that much time into it. But one day, me and my friend decided, I'm gonna actually try and like put more effort into it. And like I was actually really surprised at like what came out of it. So I guess kind of like my senior years when I first started getting into it. And ever since then, I've been mixing it up with different genres, and going back to what I really like listening to, which is like pop punk and like alternative rock, but then also throwing in the side of hip hop because I like I can rap a fair bit, I guess. But I just like mixing it up, and that's kind of just how I go. I kind of just make what I like listening to, and if other people like it, it's just a bonus.
Love that.
I mean,
That's
shoot,
awesome.
that's exactly what you asked for.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I enjoy it. I'm not gonna worry about what other people have to say. I make slow songs, I make hype songs. I just really make, honestly, like I said before, just music that I would listen to on a daily basis, and like I just really enjoy it. So like to have good feedback from like our team and the support from my friends and like you guys, it's just awesome. It's just a cherry on top, and like anything I can do to like bring the mood up or like remind someone of something, or relate to someone, like that's just really what I'm going for.
Love it. Love it. And you do make good music. Like it's amazing because you did say it was a joke at first, and now it's like, wow, like you care and you produce good stuff. So, kudos to you, man.
I appreciate it, man. And I think that's honestly like where it all starts, is the caring. I put
Yeah.
more time into it, and I wanted better results. So I was learning everything when it came to engineering, like making my vocals as crisp and clear as they can, finding stuff out with copyright stuff, with beats, and just learning about the whole music industry and stuff. There's a lot to learn about it. But you know, it's been a fun ride, and I enjoy doing it still.
All right, real quick. Quick question. Who's your favorite artist out right now? Can't be yourself.
Out right now. Um, so my favorite artist of all time is still Juice WRLD. Like, I just like, I don't know, I just have related to him, and like just his flow and everything that he did, and when it came to music, just inspired me, to be honest, when it came to music. And long live Juice WRLD, because he was the
Rest
man,
in power.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Um, but to be honest, right now, um, that's a good question. I mean, I still listen to a bunch of alternative and like pop punk stuff. So, I mean,
Yeah, anybody.
I mean, my favorite band is Simple Plan. Like, that's my
Okay.
all-time favorite band. They do the theme song to What's New Scooby Doo. They actually
Okay.
have their own
Top
episode.
5 greatest TV shows of all time. I gotta say it. I gotta say
Easily.
it. I'm a Scooby Doo guy.
Easily.
Back when they were a cartoon, like they were, a lot of them were cartoons, but the old version of What's New Scooby Doo, they did the theme song, and they actually have their own episode.
Wow. I actually had no idea. And that
That's
just
a fun
like,
fact.
not gonna lie, when you said the name, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I've never heard of this band in my life. Second you said Scooby-Doo, I'm like, I know exactly who this is. And absolutely I mess with that band. So that pumps me up.
Yeah, man, they're awesome. They also sing I'm Just a Kid. So that's a very
I'm just a kid. Yeah, that's a great song.
yeah, they sing
Wow.
that song too.
That's a great
Crazy.
pick. Now, Nick, I got to throw this at you. What's your current like favorite artist, band, whatever? Because I have one that I've been thinking of for a while.
All right, so I'm going to Luke Combs end of July. So currently I've been bumping his music, just trying to know it. And it's Luke Combs. He's awesome. But you ever hear the band Lifehouse? They sing the song "You and Me."
Okay, yeah, I've heard the song.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the band.
Dude, you got to go through their discography. It's awesome. It is awesome. It plays at work all the time, and I was like, "What band is this?" And I Shazammed it over Snapchat, and then started listening to them. And they're awesome. They have some really good music, and it's like an older like mid 2000s band, but it's good stuff. That's what you grow up on.
Yeah, I mean, the one that the artist that I've been thinking of, and I didn't realize I've been listening to him for a while. I can't remember if I've already brought this up. But I've been listening to this guy for over a year and hadn't put the piece of the puzzle together until recently. It's Jelly Roll. Holy shit,
Yeah.
that guy gets me going. He's a country
Yeah.
artist,
Wow.
kind of like a country pop guy. He's been on a bunch of podcasts recently. Like I first kind of recognized him from Bussin' with the Boys. Shout out Barstool. He came on with Ernest and was kind of like talking about his story and how he started out getting into music. And like, he's had a crazy life full of addiction, went to jail. Like he got a misdemeanor in the state of Tennessee, I think, because he was carrying weed on him. And it's still illegal to state law there. So he went to jail, and that's like been on his record that he's a criminal. So it's totally messed up his entire life. Met his wife helped him through, or I guess his second wife had a kid with the first wife, got divorced. I don't know, just crazy shit, got into music, and now he's crushing it. And like he had a recent documentary, I want to say on Hulu, that like literally put me into tears. Like it's such a cool story, and his music's awesome. Like it's so powerful. And it just really good on a nice long car ride. When he pops on my radio or my playlist, I'm just like, let's go. Shit's about to get down. So shout out Jelly Roll, because he's a beast. I know you're listening out there, brother. Would love to have you on one of these days.
It'd be so sick. It'd be so sick. So change the topic a little bit. We're all coaches. Bridge, have you had your last tournament? Because I just had mine, and today was tryouts actually for this next season. So
tell me about tryouts. How did that go? The future of Team 10. What are we looking like?
So it actually was awesome. I got to see our guest. So I got to see Corbin when I got to the field. Great. I also got to see our new head coach. Shout out Tommy DeLuca. Very excited to see him. I brought up doing a possible Cabrini shop and everything. He said, go for it. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But yeah, it was great. There was a lot of kids. The 28 team itself, I think we had 21 kids at our full capacity this year when everybody was healthy and was able to make, practices, tournaments, all that. I think we had, I want to say like 40 kids try out today. So some really good numbers. And, hopping in the conference room after to talk about it, it was, it's a little bit stressful, but, you get to see the kids play, and you know who's on the team and who's not. I do got to give a shout out to Luke Anderson. He asked me to shout him out, obviously. But the reason I'm going through with it is because he had the nastiest yard sale of the weekend. Oh, dude, beauty.
So this is one of the kids that is a Lax Lounge listener, or you told him about the show?
Well, I told him about the show. He supposedly listened to an episode. I think he listened to the one with Nate, who he calls Coach Upstate, which I think is hilarious.
Upstate Nate.
Yo, that's a good one.
That just happened.
Put
that on the t-shirt.
Yeah, but shout out Luke Anderson. Filthy yard sale. Hell of a player. Can't wait to see you next year.
Ooh, already a little team drop right there. Cough, wink, wink. Corbin, so you were at tryouts too. what was your squad? What year are you working with? Because Nick, if I'm not mistaken, are you with the 28s or 29s?
I'm with the 28s. They are going to be 8th graders.
Okay. So Corbin, how was your squad?
Yeah, so I'm the 2029. So our squad's looking good as well. So first two tournaments we struggled, to be honest with you, because last summer we got our first tournament championship in single A, and we had a fair amount of success. So we decided we were going to go up to double A, and the first two tournaments, to be honest with you, we just were not competing to the level one that we possibly could, but also just the level of competition we were playing against was a lot better than us. And it was time to look in the mirror, and so we decided to move back down to single A this past tournament, and we went 5-0 until the championship game. We scored with 10 seconds to go to force it to overtime, and then they scored on the opening faceoff. So yeah,
Brutal.
it was kind of brutal, but it was good to see them smiling again at tryouts on Tuesday. We actually had a fair amount of good kids come back for the tryouts, but then we had some new faces and a lot of good talent. It's really hard to make those decisions when you go to the draft, or not the draft board, but when you go to the whiteboard kind of and figure out the numbers and what exactly is going to work best for the team. It's hard to do that when kids and like kids that are on the team and stuff like that. So overall, it's just a learning process, like being a coach, but it's also like a good thing because it makes you excited heading forward and seeing the future and watching these kids grow.
Complete
I agree.
tangent for a second. I think it'd be sick if we took tryouts and made it draft style, where instead of like an email gets sent out, you just tell the kids like, hey, in 2 hours, like have your parents by their phone. We'll give you a ring if you're on the team. You just be like, hey, yeah, we'd like to select you for the summer 2023 squad, the fall 2023. Like that'd be electric.
That'd be awesome.
Imagine that.
I'm going crazy.
That'd be so cool. But that's pretty good to hear. I'm kind of glad that you asked about how CitySide's going, because we just got back from a tournament down outside of LA in California, and we took home the championship. So I got myself a nice little medal right here. It's the Legends Meltdown. My 2028s, we dominated. Although it was after the first game, because our first game, we absolutely just didn't play our game. We won. It was 4-2. One of the sloppiest victories I've ever seen. Like me and the rest of the coaching staff and even the players agreed, like we should have beaten that team by at least 10. And we just kept them in for way too long. So it was one of those where we had the ball, I think, on offense, a cumulative 5 minutes in the 36-minute game. And our defense stood on their head. Goalies are freak. Every time we get it over the midline, when we yell yellow, which is our, hey guys, let's calm down. Let's, spin the ball around. It would be, oh, yellow means go to the goal, throw the ball away, something like that. We're just like pulling our hair out like, guys, game one, let's stick to what we need to do and set us up for success. So luckily we scaved out of there with a win, had a big run in the second half. And then the rest of the day, we just absolutely cleaned house, like 10-0 victory, 13-0 victory. Defense was just unreal. Day two in the semifinal, another big dub, shutout win. I think it was 8-0 or something. Championship game, we go down 1-0 on a man-up goal where the other team kind of runs this nice little like pick play that just ran through our defense. Kid hit a nice shot off stick low, just perfect placement. Like I turned to a bench and I'm like, you got to respect that. That's a good shot. And like, hey, they're here. Like we beat them earlier, but these guys are here to play. It was shout out Mad Dog, I think Orange County or whatever. Solid team. And then from there, we just put the foot on the gas and didn't look back. So I think we rattled off like 9 straight, 1-9-1. And I actually have the picture right here of the squad. Kind of hard to see probably, but there's a nice little beauty there. And look at that guy, arms crossed, he's a badass. And yeah, fun weekend. I actually went down there with 2 of my buddies. We're coaching with the 29s and the high school team. So shout out, talked about Rubio before, but Timmy Daly, who's another guy. He goes to St. Mary's College in California. and he was out there with us. So we were staying in the same hotel room, just the coaches. Did like a coach's hibachi night on Saturday. It was a blast. We really had a fun weekend and got to take home some hardware. So next weekend, as we're recording this, we go back down to California, to San Francisco for an even bigger tournament where we'll probably face some really good competition. So next 2 weeks, it's going to be all about getting the fellas back to kind of a humble state of like, hey, we just absolutely dominated a lot of these teams. Now we got to go back to, we got work to do. Like, that wasn't a perfect tournament at all. So really just keep building with this squad. But we got some dogs, like some absolute freaks. This one kid, I'll mention him, Cole Sievers. I think I talked about him in the last episode. Guy who we picked up out of nowhere, first season in CitySide this summer, and he's just a face-off tank. Like, he'll win the face, and then you can keep him on offense, obviously, because it's 7th, 8th graders. So, like, everyone plays offense and defense. But this kid, literally, it's like, hey, Cole, dodge. Cool. And he's good at understanding, like, if you play stick defense on him, where you don't slide the body, he'll literally just run through you. And he has an absolute hammer. Like, he took a nuke of a shot in the second game, almost put a hole in the net. And we're just like, holy shit, Cole, like, please do that over and over and over again. So he's a beast. And then we have these two twins on defense that like in the photo that I showed you, their muscles for rising 8th graders, it's actually insane. Like, I'm telling my guys and opposing coaches, like, if I was at their age and they regarded me, dude, I'd be shooting bricks. Like, these guys just go out headhunting in a good way. Like, they only got one penalty the entire weekend, which I was very impressed with, because they're usually our penalty box, residents throughout the game. But good time, great time to be CitySide. And our 2028s, we're coming out and we're firing. So gotta love it. And it has to be something with the coaching. Like, has to. Our offense has been clicking.
I love that. So we moving past lacrosse, or we're gonna stick with it? What are we doing?
I think we should get into the juicy stuff about lacrosse. And that's about Mr. Carraghan's career, because we are, kind of new into the Cabrini scene. But, Corbin, you've seen a lot in your time as a Cavalier. So maybe let's start with, like, how did you find Cabrini? Because you're a PA resident. You're from it's Emmaus High School is where you went, if I'm not mistaken. I knew that, of course. He's a legend at Emmaus. But how did you find Cabrini, and, like, throughout your recruiting process, like, what led you to the school? And then maybe we'll start to get into your freshman year experience, because that was wild.
Yeah, so I think it was, so I ended up committing early in the process, but my recruiting wasn't until later in my high school career. So I kind of started getting recruited my junior year for lacrosse after playing some varsity my sophomore year. I had kind of a growth spurt, so I grew a little bit to what I kind of am now. I mean, I got some weight on me now, better, more muscle, I'd say, hopefully. But yeah, back then I kind of wasn't that big, so I didn't get recruited till about junior year of high school. So I think I was at a Germantown Academy game, and I remember lining up on the wing, and I just hear somebody behind me say, like, get in there, 5. And I was like, oh, okay. And usually, like, I'm used to hearing my dad say something like that, like, sentence like that. That's usually exactly what my dad says. So I was like, that wasn't my dad. So then I was like, oh, okay. So, like, I went in there, and I remember I literally got the ground ball, push transition, made one more pass, and we scored. And that guy came up to me, and it was PT Ritchie. So at the time, he was the defensive coordinator at Cabrini, and he just was talking to me and letting me know that I had a good game, and that if I had any interest in Cabrini, to email them and see if I could get in for a prospect day. So the day before the Cabrini prospect day, I was actually at a Montclair State prospect day, and that school really wanted me. And they really were interested in me get going there and, playing for their program. So when I got there, like, they had my name written down, they wanted me to do good. And I just, quite frankly, shit the bed. I had one of my worst days when it came to playing. I just was not doing anything to the sort of standard that I try and hold myself to. And, it just wasn't a good result. So I didn't really talk much to them. But the very next day, I had scheduled to go to the Cabrini Prospect Day. And it was quite literally the complete opposite. I played pretty much as well as I could. There wasn't really a single thing that I didn't like about Cabrini. I liked that it was a smaller school and that it was only 50 minutes away from me. And then, I started talking to Colfer, and after the prospect day, he was just like, yeah, we're really interested in you. And, we thought you were one of the best kids out here, which, it was the first time I heard that from like a coach. So I was like, damn, like he really appreciates like what I'm doing and like sees the potential I have. And so, I talked to my dad and I was like, Dad, I really like this school. So, I ended up committing, I think maybe 4 or 5 days after the prospect day, maybe, I knew I wanted to go there. And yeah, so I ended up going over there. I think, I graduated 2018. Went to Cabrini freshman year was 2019. And in that fall, I was on the team, and, I just went through a whole life change, to be honest. My whole lifestyle was different. I'm by myself. I don't have someone over my shoulder all the time. And I kind of took advantage of it, but not to the sorts of that it did not help me. I started to procrastinate, excuse me, to the utmost. And, one thing led to the next. I was staying up late, trying to finish homework, not getting good sleep, then, not showing up to lift. Next day, I'd do the same thing, but be tired at practice, 6 a.m., so it was kind of just a snowball effect. And one thing led to the next. By the end of the semester, I got told that I was ineligible and I couldn't play in the spring. So it was, the biggest life changing moment pretty much, because it's made me open my eyes as to what I really wanted to do. So I decided that I still wanted to play lacrosse and that I wasn't going to give up and just let this be the way I go out. So I got my act together that spring. I couldn't play. But that spring also was the year that we won the national championship. So all my buddies and roommates went to practice and games every day in the spring, and I had to sit in that room and just do homework. And that's really when I noticed what I wanted to do and realized that I have to change some stuff. So it was fantastic to see my roommates win and storm that field and be a part of that whole process. But unfortunately, I did it to myself and I just wasn't mature enough for the moment. So, it really did suck, but, in a way, it kind of helped me going into the next season.
I think that's awesome to kind of bring up, because we hear so many storybook stories from that national championship year where it's like, oh, this guy worked his way up to being a starter, or like the whole Timmy Brooks thing where he was injured, came in, scored the big goal against York. I kind of love the perspective of, someone who had to watch from not even the sidelines, but from outside of the locker room, and kind of like having that reality check, because that's important. And it really happens to a lot of us when you first get to college and you're like, wow, I have a lot of independence. Like, I can do whatever I want, and there's not going to be my parents like over my shoulder. I mean, especially for me, because I'm a bit farther away, like there's no way that my parents are going to come in and force me to do anything. So, I mean, that's an important thing to note. And it absolutely changed the rest of your career. But going from that 2019 season, okay, now you come back, you're back eligible for the fall, you're back eligible in the spring, and it's 2020. Talk us through that season leading up to when we all got the news about, the whole pandemic shutting everything down.
Yeah, so it was now my first year that I was able to play in the spring. So that fall and that summer, I was playing a bunch of box lacrosse, playing outside, getting the stick in my hand and just, having a great time with lacrosse, not really coaching as much yet or anything like that. Just playing a lot of lacrosse, trying to get as good as I can. Kind of had a chip on my shoulder, I wanted to do as good as I could. So that fall, I came in ready to go and I had a great fall. And, springtime comes around and, it was kind of weird because we started hearing about COVID. And then in the matter of, I'd say 2-3 weeks, it felt like the Ivy League schools had shut down. And when that came out, we were like, whoa, so like this is actually happening. So one thing led to the next, and we only got to play, I believe, 5 games. We were the 3rd ranked team in the country in that season, and pretty sure we were 4-1. Ready to, repeat. We had a bunch of seniors come back for their 5th year to repeat and protect the title. And we only got to play 5 games, so there was a lot of kids that ended up not coming back. So there was a lot of kids that left, and it didn't use a year of eligibility for myself. But I only got to play in, I think I played in 3 out of the 5 games. So I went from not playing a whole season with national championship to only playing 3 games the next year. So yep, that's what happened the next year in 2020.
And what was what happened when you guys kind of found out? Because I've heard a little bit of the story about how like you guys were going out to practice, captains get pulled out. Like, what was your perspective of that day where they sent you guys home? And I know for us, they told us like, hey, it's gonna be 2 weeks and then we'll be back. We'll have our spring break a little bit early, but we're gonna catch up. Everything's gonna be fine. And kind of just brushed everything under the rug until coming in at 1,000 miles an hour is a big steamroll engine ready to knock us on our ass and kind of ruin all our plans. So what was your perspective during that really, really kind of scary situation?
Yeah. So one other thing I forgot to mention as well. The thing that I also took away from the beginning, the first 2 years before we get into that, I was number 17 my very first freshman year in that fall. I came back in that fall, and I should have mentioned this earlier in the part, but I came back in that fall, and when I went into the locker room, my new number was now 60. So they gave me the last number on the roster and gave my number to a kid that transferred it. So that was a big like, okay, this is how we look at you. So that whole year I was kind of, coming from being like, Coach Garling at the time told me I got to build equity. The equity was very low because I did not show them a lot of great stuff. But, I have a picture frame of me wearing the number 60, and I actually hang it up in my room down at school. And it just reminds me of like where I came from of like that first year, so, but that year when I came back then, 2020, the day that we found out, I remember we all got told to meet in the locker room for a team meeting. And I'm pretty sure there was some time in between. So we were all in the gym. A lot of us were playing basketball. Some kids were throwing football. And then halfway through, like the seniors were pulled out of it. So we all just kept playing and like all that stuff. And then we got told to go back to the locker room. We went back in the locker room. Coach was talking to us, and then pretty much told us that, like our season's shut down and that this is the last time you'll see the seniors. And the seniors walked in, and we all had to just say goodbye right then and there. And it was just like the biggest like jaw-dropping moment because everybody's mouth was open. Like, I can't believe this is actually happening. So it was a very weird experience and a very weird day.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've had, Nick and I, 2 experiences of that kind of end of season locker room conversation with the seniors, and it fucking sucks. So I can't imagine what that would be like, just kind of coming out of nowhere in the middle of February, March. We just have to say goodbye to these guys that you were building chemistry with and hoping to have an excellent season with that entire year. That's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, no, it was really weird, and I had just started getting closer with the team. Being that it was my first spring season, I had to get used to, playing in a spring game because it had been over a year because I didn't play. So yeah, it was weird, but we kept moving forward.
Hell
Keep
yeah,
moving
we
forward.
did.
We still are.
And so that work all led into, I hate to keep being a Debbie Downer because I know where this is going to go, but it's all going to come to a positive point at somewhere. But what happened in that next season, 2021, the kind of COVID year where it was all fucked up and everything was kind of crazy? Like, what happened?
So 2021 was actually my first quote unquote full season of playing. And it ended up only being 14 total games. It was a shortened season. When it came to the depth chart, we had a kid transfer in that was a starter in my position from Gettysburg College, Eric Carr. He's the man. He's the boy. He's one of my good friends that I've played with lacrosse over the past few years. But he came in, and so he was doing great. So he was playing over me, and then there was another kid that was older who was also playing over me. So I was in the mix. I played in every game. Not as much as I wish I did, or yeah, wish I did. I did pretty good, but I just didn't do as well, or not as well, but as well. Yeah, I guess as well. I guess I could have, but I kind of just took that and thought about the future and just really wanted to focus on getting better at lacrosse and getting better at my position and what I need to do better as a player to help the team.
Well, that's awesome. And I know that was cool because that's the year you switched to number 5, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, too.
Yep,
So you got back to your number.
Yeah, so that's the number I've worn. I mean, I've worn 24 because of Marshawn Lynch. Shout out to Seahawks.
Beast mode.
Yep. Shout out to Seahawks for football. But then my last year, I believe I started wearing number 5. And that was just my number going up from there. So my senior year and freshman year of high school, I wore number 5. So I always wanted to wear number 5. So then I got the number 5 or the chance to wear it. And yeah, so overall, it was a great season. Great, to be a part of it finally and have a full season. But it still was shortened. But I made a lot of great memories and I'm thankful for it.
Now, that summer, playing box lacrosse. Tell us what happened.
This is actually the first time that me and Corbin met. Not at this event, but this summer was the first time that me and him met. It was actually at a prospect day that I was participating in.
Yeah, so off of what Nick is saying, I would always go to the prospect days. Probably the last 6 to 7 prospect days, I was there helping out. So yeah, I met Nick. Was that before you were committed, or?
Nah, I was committed. It was me, Ronner, Schneider, Waldo, and what was his name? Custodio.
What a combo right there. Holy
what a
crap.
combo. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was definitely the first time I met you.
It was you and Bundy.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Bundy's the GOAT. Shout out Bundy.
Shout out Colton.
So yeah, I played that summer. I was playing a bunch of box, and I ended up making this travel team roster called the Philly Funk. And we traveled a lot up and down the East Coast, New Jersey, upstate New York, teams like that. But I was playing a lot. So probably with field and box, I was playing probably 4 times a week while also lifting and stuff. So I was playing a lot, but I'm still going out on the weekends sometimes, having a few beers here and there. So I wasn't like doing the most, but yeah, towards the end of the summer, I was playing in a box game and we ended up going into double overtime with 20-minute periods. So super long game in the heat, outside. And yeah, I was basically drained. And I went out for a ground ball along the boards and I went to go cut towards the inside. And I unfortunately stepped on the board and the turf at the same time while cutting towards the middle. And what I was trying to do was just take a normal juke towards the middle. And what I ended up doing was a full 360. So my leg planted in the ground, and it pretty much jolted my body to where I was now on the ground. And for a split second, my leg was numb, and the next thing I felt was just pure pain. And it obviously hurt really bad, but I got up. I had some people help me off, and there was a girlfriend there of a player that was a trainer, but technically because she's not getting paid or hired, that she's not allowed to assist me to check to see if my knees and stuff were okay. So she was having me do it. And from the looks of it, it wasn't good. So yeah, went and got an MRI probably 2 days later and found out I tore my ACL and meniscus. And I needed to have surgery.
It's crazy.
And so the adversity strikes again. But this is kind of where Nick and I come into the picture because we get back to campus. It's now coming into the 2021 fall. And I remember the first time I met you because it was at Ples. I was with Colton and he was kind of like showing me around the place. We're going to take, my parents are going to take him out to lunch. And we come in and you're moving. And I believe you were like either fresh out of surgery or a couple like weeks, maybe a month post. You're still on your crutches trying to move stuff in with your dad. And you had a great energy around you. Like I vividly remember just feeling it coming off of you when I walked into the house. So you're definitely were optimistic about stuff, but how did you approach that year from like a recovery standpoint? Because ACLs are no joke. They take a while to get back from, but you kind of crushed it on your path getting back, and coming into the spring, you set yourself up to, dance around a little bit and have a bit of fun, right? In the spring.
Yeah. So, to be honest with you, the first couple months of my recovery, I'd say the first 3 to 4 months was easily the hardest thing that I've had to go through, other than my freshman year of college. When it came to physically, obviously getting stronger, my legs stronger, but also mentally not being able to do the things that I want to do, being on the go all the time and not being able to go out and have a good time and be with my friends, that really sucked. But yeah, I just kept going forward, kept working out, trying to get my leg as strong as possible. And I kind of just used it as motivation. I didn't want to give up. I still had this dream of playing at Cabrini, for as long as I could. And yeah, I worked as hard as I could. And, I wasn't able to play in a game that season, but I was able to join practice towards the end of the year, to the point where I was then cleared right at the end of the year. So I wasn't going to risk anything playing in any games, but yeah, it was a long recovery. It took me a total of 9 months, I believe. But yeah, I mean, it taught me a lot of things about myself, about like what I really like and what I want to do, and just what it takes. Sometimes, I've been playing sports for, at the time, it was 22 years. So it's a lot of stuff on your legs, and I never had an injury like that, so I'm thankful. but stuff like that happens. But I was gonna mention something. I forgot what I was gonna say. It had something to do with rehab.
All I know is while you're thinking about that, I reached out to you because my second semester I was taking a class. He's got it. So I'm going to cut that story right there. You can go ahead.
That fall, the first 3-4 months, that fall, I wasn't at school. I stayed home and I took a complete semester off. So I took a medical semester off. And so I was not in school and I was not at school. I was at home rehabbing, recovering from my ACL. And, that's where it kind of sucks, where I had this, they call it FOMO, fear of missing out, not being with my friends, not doing all the fun things at school. It really bothered me. So, yeah, it was hard at first, but I'm glad I did it because I really then focused on rehab and getting right. And, so far it's been good and I feel great.
Awesome.
That's awesome to hear. Where I was going before I let you come back is second semester, I reached out to you because in my sports comm class, they needed us to write a piece on like a feature story. And you instantly popped into my head as a guy who like has a pretty sick story regarding like your road to recovery. And that was right around when you gotten cleared to practice. And I remember putting that together, having you the interview set up, and like you were just so. Can you guys hear the garage opening?
I heard it,
Cool.
but yeah,
Okay.
happens. No editing. It doesn't matter.
Just making sure. So Tom and Denise just arrived. They maybe will barge in here if they really feel like
Shout
it.
out Tom
But,
and shout out Denise.
Absolutely. They just had a bender
Always.
in Santa Barbara. But anywho's, where I was going with that is I remember like reaching out to you, doing the interviews, putting together that thing. And it was right as you came back and were cleared to practice. I remember you just came into the locker room and like the simple act of putting on your jersey and like throwing on your elbow pads, gloves, helmet, everything just made you overjoyed. And I think I might have been walking down the halls with you, or it was when you got on the field, but you're just like, holy fuck, I've never been more excited to practice in my life. And I just vividly remember just being so happy for you. And you were just so juiced up to be back to playing lacrosse. And it's a simple thing that some of us take for granted. And I resonated with that because back when I got injured in 2019 into 2020, I had that same feeling the first day that we went out it was like a quarantine kind of like mock practice thing that we did with CitySide, where it was just positional, we were socially distanced. It was kind of bullshit in retrospect, but I remember hopping out of the car with the biggest smile on my face. And like one of the coaches, Will Snyder, I think he made a comment where he was like, Fridge is actually the happiest person here. And I just don't understand why. And it's like, Coach, you will never understand until you go through what I've gone through just to be here right now. So I resonate with that completely. And it was really cool to be a firsthand witness to in that second semester. Enough with the negative Nancy bullshit. Time to talk about 2023. Yeah, that's what year it is. Where Nick, hold on.
I got a quick question, and it's for Corbin. I know you haven't always rocked one. When did you get the mullet?
This summer.
It's a summer thing. Is it a goth thing? You wear your hat backwards on the course? Like, what's going on?
I can wear a hat forward or backwards. It don't matter. No, I'm kidding. But no. I've never had my hair long in the back or anything like that, but I've always thought about it. And I've never done it in college. I thought it was a good time to do it. So, I kind of I got chopped the top a little bit, got the sides trimmed up, and the back's growing. So,
I think you rock it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it.
The mullet is you either rock it or you don't, and I think you got it.
Yeah, I might as well. My dad had one when he was younger. At least I can say I did it. If I change it one day, who cares?
Yeah, it's a legacy thing. Dad had one, you got one.
Right. Exactly.
I love it. You fit it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. All right, Fridgie.
I would say I think you fit it because you're committed to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big.
I like it.
I'm not gonna lie. Here's a hot take.
I like it.
Can't stand mullets. Can't stand it. Can't stand long hair. Like that's just who I am. If you're watching the video, like my hair right now is too long. I might be getting a haircut soon because I'm a big high and tight guy. Keep it clean, everything like that. Ooh, my buddy just texted me. I'm working out at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Let's go. But that's besides the point. You do rock the mullet really well. So keep it up. And that hat forward, backwards, sideways, in between, whatever it is, steez in comfort, my
You
friend.
guys have seen me do it at lift or conditioning or something. I'm always wearing a hat, and I mean, I don't know if it's the ADHD still or what, but like I'm always joking around with my hat, wearing it weird ways and trying to be funny. But you know,
I've turned into a big hat guy recently. I can't lie. It kind of came out of nowhere. I used to be like no hats at all. And now pretty much everywhere I go, I'll either have the backwards hat just because so I don't have to do my hair, like just slick it back. Or if I'm going to the gym, if it's an upper day, I'll have it forward. If it's a leg day, I'll have it backwards. So it's like kind of, I pick my hat and I set the vibe for my session at the gym. So something I've been doing recently.
100%. Honestly, that's how I wear my hat. Honestly, based off of where I'm at. If I'm coaching, I got it forward, but if it's like the end of the game and there's like a minute left, that thing is on as hard as it can, all the way down and backwards. I'm like locked in, ready to take it off, throw it in the air or spike it. Locked in. It basically depends where you are. That's how I look at it.
Dude, I was on my high horse this weekend coaching. We were 3-0 the first day, and then we lost our second game. This is some utter bullshit. I just want to clarify that before I begin the story. But it rained on Saturday, and it delayed games, and games were going until 8 o'clock. So it delayed games, and that screwed us on Sunday. We're also a second half team. Put that into retrospect real fast. But it got to Sunday, and the teams that didn't play the day before that were supposed to had to play that morning, which pushed everybody back, and they had to cut down games. So we played a game that was 26 minutes long, and it was 2 halves of 13 minutes.
Same here.
It's horrible. That's hard. I don't. You could have done 30 minutes. 2:15s. 2:15s would have made sense, but you could have done that like 26 minutes, 13-minute running quarters.
Yep, that's what we did. It was weird.
Dude, it's horrible. And like I said, we're a second half team, and we should have won. Don't get me wrong. I thought we were better than the team. We had the opportunity. We just didn't take them. But dude, it was annoying. Drove all the way out there. Drove 26 minutes of game time. Drove all the way back. I warmed up the kids longer than we played.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm very glad that was not the case for us in California, because instead of driving all the way out there and back for a 26-minute game, we would be flying all the way down there and flying back just to kind of get shafted. So we were playing, I think, 16 or 17-minute running halves, which honestly flew by. And I like the point that Corbin made about the coaching hat, because I'm a very animated coach. I'm an animated person. If I can speak English.
Okay, Tyson. All right.
Yeah, but if you watch the videos, I'm big on talking with my hands. Now that I said it, I'm gonna have to do it the rest of the time. But I'll be the guy who, like, I'm up and down just doing squats throughout the entire game, getting down in that stance, popping back up just to keep moving. And if one of my players like does something where I'm telling him to do it and they actually like start executing, big one was like a simple pick and roll. I don't know why, but our guys just have not been getting the whole concept of like set your feet, roll, and like give space so that the guy runs into the pick, not you stand 2 millimeters away from the guy setting the pick and then you end up moving and getting an illegal screen. We finally ran a high pick and roll to perfection, and it almost led to a goal. And literally on the roll, it was the guy Cole that I was talking about earlier. Sets the pick, rolls, throw back right to him, step down, and he missed. I'm literally bouncing like a bunny up and down, just like, whoa, come on, it's so close. And I tell some of my players, I'm like, after you make a sick play, like every once in a while, just go look at me, because I'm probably just losing my mind, because I like cool things. And when I really need to, I'm not going to slam the hat, but I love just kind of like gripping it, taking it off, put it at my side and be like, all right, put it back on. Complete tangent, but a much needed one.
Love it.
One.
So-
Hypothetical slam. Hypothetical slam.
Yeah. So I love how you said you're animated, Fridge, because I am too. Like if there's a fast break, I'm sprinting down the sideline faster than them to see it happen. Like I'm the most involved, dude. I'm the most involved in the play. But my big thing that I do is like if they score, I'm usually like arms crossed, leaning over, whatever. But I'll do like that, and I always throw it into a dab. So like in a sense, I'm dabbing on 8th graders, and that makes me feel bad, but that's my thing.
One thing I started doing is I'm famous for my heel clicks. I love just
Heel
doing it at
clicks.
random moments when you need some good vibes. I do this around campus all the time too, where it's like, just walking around randomly. If I don't know what to do, I'll be like, fuck it, let's do a heel click real quick.
Yeah,
And
why not?
everyone just instant smile goes on people's faces. So I started doing that pregame where it's like, I'll walk out, go talk to the first line middies, defense, whatever, be like, all right, let's have a great game, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll walk back to the sideline. I'll just like point at the first guy and I'll literally just like do a heel click on the field and walk off. And one of my kids actually like did it back to me and I was like, boom, that's the biggest compliment I've ever got. Because now your vibes are up, my vibes are up. We're about to go crush some competition. But it got mentioned to me that I didn't do it before the championship. So now I'm like second guessing it where it's like, fuck, like we won the championship. Like I can't do it now because if I do and we lose, it's going to be because of the heel click. That's the superstitious Canadian coming out of me. But
that's your Tom Petty.
The other thing is I have a winning fit now. So I have not lost in the outfit that I wore my first day in Denver when we went 3-0. It's a black CitySide long sleeve and these green legend pants with the CitySide logo. Sick fit. I wore that championship Sunday because last time in Denver, wore a different fit. We lost the first game. I was like, shoot, all right, let's try this out. What do you know? Go 2-0, only let in 1 goal in the entire day. Has to be the fit. So I can tell you one thing is set in stone. In California, on that second Sunday when we are competing in the championship bracket, I'm going to be wearing a black CitySide long sleeve and those same green shorts. And we're going to clean house. And it's all going to be because of the fit. Like I said, superstitious Canadian asked me coming out. But all of that is to say, 2023 season, Corbin, you had quite the wild ride. So what was your biggest takeaway from this? Would be your second full season, if I'm not mistaken, that actually counted eligibility wise?
Yeah.
So what were some of your big takeaways?
That all stems from a mullet comment, by the way. That entire 10-minute tangent.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Lax Lounge for anyone who's new.
So biggest takeaways from that year. So it was my first year where I was competing for a more predominant spot where I'd be on the field a lot more. There was a kid ahead of me that was a past All-American, and he should have been starting for sure. And one of my good buddies of mine that I'm really good friends with, Gers, is also the same position as me. So, me and him at practice were just going as hard as we could. So it basically came down to me and him, and we just split reps, for a lot of the time. And, for what it was worth, I had a great time, and I think I made the most of it. I did some more impressive things that, I think I didn't know I was capable of in a way, but I think it was all from, the recovery and stuff of just focusing on my body and like making sure I can play at the best of my abilities. But the biggest takeaways I'd say was, as a team, I feel like towards the end of the year, like even though things weren't going our way, we still had this vibe of like we wanted to play no matter what. There was a lot of turmoil even at the beginning of our season, with players quitting and not wanting to be a part of the process anymore, and it just wasn't something that as a program and as a player I was used to. So coming from where we started at the beginning of the year, I think as a team we grew a lot, and that's why it was hard to get the news, like a month ago that, after this next coming year that it's going to be done.
So I guess before we get into that, I want to mention one thing quickly, and it's my Corbin highlight of the year, I guess. Like I have in my head now, I have highlight reels of everybody where like if we're going to do an interview, it's like, okay, I'm going to talk about this moment with them. But for you, I'm going to take us to Salisbury, Maryland, and actually just that entire weekend in Maryland in the greater DC area, because you got some pretty cool accomplishments. Talk through that Salisbury game, and you scoring your first career goal against what would be national champions. Walk me through the play from your perspective, and then just the rush of how that felt.
Yeah, so in that specific game, I was actually stepping up. There was an injury. So I had to play, pretty much a starting position the whole game. So it was the most I had played in a game since probably my senior year of high school. So it was a big challenge for me, but I was really excited about the opportunity. So on that specific play, I had just subbed in on a ride. So I was in the middle of the field, kind of hunting, hoping that they would throw it there so that I could jump it and, get on their hands, try and get a CT or something. But it just so happens that they threw an overpass and it bounced off the kid's stick, so it went out of bounds. So normally, as an LSM or a D midi, your first instinct is, okay, I got to get off because now we're on offense. And I don't know what told me to stay on, but I decided, I'm going to stick with this. We do a lot of drills at practice of carrying the ball, 5v4 situations, fast break, full field. And I literally saw that drill on the playing field. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I know what to do right now. So I pretty much just filled the spot. The ball went out of bounds. One of our freshman attackmen picked it up, and I caught it at about 12 yards, just outside of the goal. And I took like 2 steps before someone got a stick on me. And I remember just shooting as hard as I could and hearing that ping. I hit a bottom. I think it was bottom left. I don't know, but I quite literally did not see the shot at all. I just remember hearing the noise and people yelling. So I remember just being so hyped, but I could barely breathe, by the way. I was so tired. I just took a rep. I came on the field, ran all the way down. Then that happened. I remember turning around. I think Brady Rauner dapped me up right after, was telling me like, let's go, Corb. Like, that's all you. Let's go. And then Goss, of all people, came up and he was like, let's go, Corb. You're him. Like, the funniest thing I've ever heard Goss say. You're him to me. It was so funny, but it was like the biggest compliment ever. And then, yeah, as I'm running back, I see a full grandstand of people and they say, goal scored by, myself. And it was just, I don't know. It just happened so fast. And, I was just really thankful for getting the opportunity and just, being that I couldn't play from an injury and other stuff. It was fantastic. And for it to be against that team, kind of manifested it. I remember saying it to Tony, who's another freshman LSM on the team, just messing around, being like, yeah, man, how cool would it be if I score my first goal like Friday night under the lights down at Salisbury? And he'd be like, yeah, man, like you got it. Like I see you at practice, man, you got it. Just like hyping me up about it. And so like when it happened, he was the first guy to, on the sidelines, let's go, Corb, you did it. And I was like, yeah, man, like just believe in yourself for real. Like it was just awesome. Like just to put a lot of work into something. And, unfortunately we didn't win the game, which sucks, but, as a personal accomplishment, individual accomplishment, it felt awesome.
My favorite part about that story is when you say Oh, I think it was the bottom. You know damn well that was the bottom left corner. You know exactly where that shot went. Like, has he hit you with the pass? You vividly can picture two steps, step in, bottom left, dink, and then everything. Like, I know exactly where I was for my first college goal. Like, I could probably draw it, and I'm a horrible artist. Like, I could draw a picture of everything that happened, or like, it's one of those things you'll never forget the entire scenario around it. So cool moment. I know us on the sideline, we started going nuts because, you know, one, it was a pole goal, which whenever a long pole scores a goal, you have to go ballistic. And then two, just because of the circumstances, like we all knew how much work you'd put in, and for you to finally come out there and get your name blasting around Seagull Stadium, it was a pretty cool feeling for all of us, I would assume. But yeah, that was probably the highlight of 2023 for my memories of you, besides a couple nice can openers that you had throughout the year that would just come out of nowhere. Or it's
how about the one? What was it? It was we were at home. We had an
I want to say it was
insane.
DeSales.
It was a crazy play off of a face off, and I think you either can open a kid, or you did that and maybe had a nice assist after. I forget, but you had a really, really nice play. You posted it somewhere.
Oh, it was the sales game, I believe.
It was the
I was
sales.
I was on a wing and
On my shit.
yeah, I was on a wing and the guy won it backwards and I was on that side. So I kind of timed it up so that as soon as he put both his arms down to go for the ground ball, I just went in with one hand and, got my stick in there and kind of just used his body as leverage to throw the check. Yeah, I mean, you hit some, you don't, but that one definitely got him between his arms and definitely hit that one.
Yeah, I mean, Nate Missouri can attest to this, but at club practices and tournaments and all that, they do ball lines, and I grab a pole. Being an offensive midi my entire life, I like to see what the other side feels like, and I grab a nice little long pole, and I try and throw some can openers, and I can say that I have hit multiple. But it is on eighth graders. It's on eighth graders. I feel like a all
They don't
American.
even know that.
Yeah, but I feel like an all American, and I also do. What's that one, dude? It's like you let go and you like swing your stick around.
Yeah, it's just a wrap check.
That's just a wrap check. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's some crazy ones, man. Look, I
Dude,
mean, the kayak check,
Yeah, dude, I pulled off one kayak. The ball didn't come out, but I actually had stick, and I was like, "Whoa!"
I
Like,
think, yeah, kayaks are sick, but like, I think the cleanest check, like, other than like a rusty gate looks insane if you pull it up. I think the cleanest check of all time is still like the overhead check. Like, if you get like a clean overhead check and like strip the ball, I mean, that's like top tier. Like,
yeah,
I mean, not hit the guy to not penalize him and take the ball away while like leaving your feet or like giving up position. Like,
completely.
that's talent. That's really
Yeah,
good.
I agree. It's always
I
a
think
fun thing.
that's something I honestly cannot say I've done much of. I've might have done it a few times, but that's just not my forte. I've never been great at it. So like a can opener check, I've kind of just tried my best to get as good as I can at that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I mean, I guess a can opener, like you'd have to have a nasty poke check. I guess that's just how it works, right?
I guess like I've always kind of just had strong forearms, I guess. I'm not like the biggest person. Like
Yeah,
I'm 5'10", 165, 170 once I'm starting to lift and a little up with that sometimes, but not the biggest person, but like I have pretty strong forearms. So when it comes to checks and like having a quick stick, like that's kind of just what I'm good at.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not the biggest person, so I'm not going to body you up and throw you 20 yards. But that's kind of just what I've tried to get as good as I can at, because that's for the most part what I succeed at.
yeah. I mean, we've both dodged on you before, so I mean, multiple times. But yeah, I mean, you're a good defenseman. Solid footwork, good stick. Definitely not Bundy level, but of hacks.
Yeah.
I think I'll find that one funny, but upsetting at the same time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you're a very good defenseman.
appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Frigid, where are we at in the recording process? How long are we going?
I think we're around hour 10 because I think we started this closer to 7, maybe a little bit longer.
All right. Yeah, it's
I
it's
can't
11:12. It's 11:12 where I'm at. Yeah.
It's 8:12 for me. It's still sunny out West Coast, Best Coast.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Yeah, if we want to hop into the draft, I mean, Corbin, any like life stories that you care to share?
Life stories.
Like anything that like a viewer might find helpful.
Yeah, a memory at Cabrini, or even like, what are you most
A piece
looking
of
forward
advice.
to? Like
What would
coming
you-
into.
Sorry, Frigid. I'm sorry. What piece of advice
Never
would you
apologize.
give? What piece of advice would you give kids that go to a school that's closing after this year?
On the spot? I love it.
Well, the way I look at it is this school and the program has been through too much to just let it go and not, fulfill what the program is meant to the countless number of families and lacrosse players, not even in Pennsylvania, but across the East Coast and West Coast, of course. So, the best advice or thing I would say for this upcoming season is, we have it on all our shirts and stuff. It's just, be 1-0, win your last game. And every game we play, moving forward will be our last game versus somebody. And, win, lose, or draw, we're all still going to be brothers, but, we're always, always, always grinding for the W. So that's always what our goal is. And I think we can do that just as well this year as we've done in any other year. I really look forward to it. And, we're a team of brothers. So I think that really helps. And, us not being a team anymore, only brings you closer. We're always gonna have that name with us. And we'll have some vintage t-shirts soon. So it's not all too bad.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Like I'm wearing Fridge's vintage t-shirt right now. I only had black shirts here. I was out in the sun.
I've actually, honestly, you can probably have that t-shirt. I don't wear it anymore. Ironically, that is my favorite new one-liner to make with someone. Where like whenever they'll bring up a question where it's like, oh yeah, like what are you gonna do? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a fuck ton of money off the vintage merch I'll have in like 10 years. Or I'll make a snarky comment about like somebody's talking about how something sucks, and I'm like, at least your school's not shutting down. And then I'll immediately be like, see, I can say that. Like it's funny when I say it because I'm going through it, but if you said it, it'd be fucked. So like, I don't know, you just got to make the situation as good as you can. But I think that's very wise words, Corbin. I think that's exactly where a lot of us are at. And I don't know, I think this is the first time we officially announce it, but like, I know I recently told the team that I'm coming back for this season. Nick, Corbin, I believe you two are also along for the ride, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. PJ texted me, PJ Hewitt, captain, future teacher of America.
Goat.
I call them the FTAs. He texted me early one of the mornings, and he was just like, "Yeah, brother, like, where's your head at?" And in true fashion of the Stratton Oakmont, I sent him the "I ain't fucking leaving" meme of Jordan Belfort, and then was immediately added to a group chat. So shout out Cabrini 2024.
Hell yeah.
Of course I'm coming back. Last ride, everything that has happened over the past 5 years. Of course I'm coming back.
Love that. And I woke up on
Corbin actually has more tenure than some of the t-shirts this year. So
I didn't
Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
they're actually paying him to stay.
An OG Cabrinian. Mother Cabrini would
Yeah.
be proud.
Yeah.
But I remember it was July 5th. I woke up And I kind of just was like, yeah, I'm ready. So I typed up this long ass message in our group chat where I kind of was just like, because I did add a lot of people like in and out of my circle that were saying, you know, like, just give you your opportunity, like run for the hills, you know, like go explore some other option, go make it big somewhere, because I do have a goal. Oh my gosh. I don't know if anyone just saw that. What a snag. Almost just spilled my water all over. I think that's our internet router.
Weird.
Our internet router is like right next to me, so that could have been really, really bad.
So-
Clip that for the socials. But
Yes.
where I was going with that is like a lot of people have been telling me, you know, like go somewhere else, because I do have big goals outside of lacrosse for my career, and I kept just kind of like, I just get sick to my stomach thinking about it, where it's like, I can't do that. Like I've put in too much time to this place. These guys have done too much for me. Like for me to just go and do my own thing, it'd be a disservice to not only myself, but like these other people. So I was like, you can't get rid of me that easily. Like we're back and better than ever. So really looking forward to it. I think we're gonna have a really, really fun year. It's gonna be interesting to see how many, because some of the other guys, like we still love them. They're choosing to go a different direction. But that's been the message. Like this entire, it's been 3-4 weeks since everything kind of went down, and it's all just been like love and support no matter what. Every single person, when they text into our chat and they're like, hey, I'm heading elsewhere somewhere, like I sent them a message and I'm just like, hey, you know, like it really meant a lot to like be around you, and like I hope you know the effect you've had on me, because like these people are awesome. And it sucks to lose them, but it's going to be even better when we see how successful they are. And this coming year, when we have as much success as I believe wholeheartedly we're going to have. And the message is, and it has always been, we have nothing to lose. So quite literally, we have nothing to lose.
So I think this is a good time to hop into our draft. But Friggy, you hit it right on the nail. Hit it right in the nail. That's how I feel. So Corbin, please.
So for a draft, I was thinking of a few different things. I heard the last one, I believe, was the letter R, right? Birds with the letter R. So I thought I'd be a little more creative.
I like it.
And I just thought of, you know, since we're home for the most part and visiting families and, you know, doing stuff over the summer, but when you come home, what is the best home cooked meal?
Ooh,
got 5 things already in my head.
Home cooked meals. All right. Open
All
up the
right,
notes app.
Corbin, kick us off. You are our guest. Guest always goes first.
Okay. This is a tough one for me. So, I would say my dad, he makes black diamond steak with potatoes on a blacktop grill, and that is hands down my favorite steak. So I would say steak.
So you're taking all steak.
Like
his dad's steak.
Black diamond dad blacktop steak.
I like that.
We can let the judges decide if you have another steak option, if we'll accept both of them. I have a feeling that it's going to be unique enough. I believe you went first in the last one with the letter R's, did you?
I was almost going to say for our Zoom episodes, we can have the guest flip a coin via Siri or via manual, and we can go back and forth calling either heads or tails. Corbin has a coin.
I like
That's amazing.
First person to call it gets to go.
No, you call it. I got last, so you have the chance, I would say.
Yeah, and then if I don't get it, you go. If you don't get it, we just keep alternating. I like this idea.
Go right ahead.
All right.
Corbin, please
Ready?
flip a coin.
Tails never fails, so give me tails.
He's going with tails.
It's heads.
Oh, show the camera. You're lying. Show the camera. No, I'm kidding.
So to clarify, am I now guessing the heads?
You
or
are
tails?
guessing the coin. This could be the greatest idea or the longest tangent ever if we just suck at guessing.
Well, I think now that we got what it is down, I think it's going to go fast. I will also
Absolutely.
take tails. I don't think head's going to go twice.
50-50 shot.
It is heads.
Let's go. All right.
Friggy bats again.
Third time's a charm. It's failed us twice. Give me tails all the way.
If it fails here, I'm also taking it.
It's heads.
I'm taking tails. Flip it immediately.
Flip it right away. Somebody's going to get it.
It's tails.
Ah.
It had to fall. It had to fall.
In a 50-50 game, it was 25% of the time it would be tails in that small sample.
Love that. Yeah, so Corbin just took steak off the board. I'm not gonna hit steak immediately again. I'm gonna go, and you guys can call me crazy on this. I'm just gonna go with a simple home cooked hamburger. Cheeseburger, obviously. But yes.
That's
Yeah.
Classic.
That barbecue burger, like everybody knows it. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it, especially when you get the ground beef, throw your own seasoning in.
I also will say
stuff.
we do have like a charcoal grill. It's a smaller one, but we have a Blackstone. So we do like smash burgers and all that jazz on there. And then if we do want the thicker patty ones, we'll throw them on the charcoal. So, I kind of got the best of both worlds. I do prefer the smash, myself, crispy edges, but yeah, some good stuff.
That's a great pick.
They're consistent.
They are. I'm going to go with a classic that I think everybody can relate to. And that is, for me, it's my grandma's shortbread cookies. But for just overall, just grandma's cookies in general, when you get that recipe and you know exactly what I'm talking about, you go to grandma's house, it's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, it's whatever. She's got those cookies she's been working on for days, maybe even weeks, who knows? They are thebomb.com. I have my grandma's recipe. Shortbread cookies are incredible when you do them right. And it's always a staple of the holiday season in the Fridge household. You have to do the shortbread cookies. So grandma's cookies, go number one.
That's an unreal answer. And that should have been my number one. That's my grandma's cookies are fantastic.
You can't beat them, no matter how hard you try.
They're fantastic. So when it comes to my second option, I think I'm going to stay. Do I go dessert or do I go meal first?
It's always the debate.
Well, since you went dessert, I think I'll follow up with.
I'm a sweet guy.
I'll follow up with homemade apple pie.
Oh.
You get it right out of the oven. It's nice and warm, crispy top. You get a nice scoop of vanilla ice cream. I mean,
Alamo.
It is top tier.
It is. It's hard to beat a good apple pie, especially around the holidays.
Absolutely.
American staple. So I'm gonna go back to the steak route. I'm gonna go with flank steak. I actually had flank steak the other night. Flank steak is delicious. Nice and thin most of the time. Not like super thin, but it's a thinner cut.
It's good stuff.
Super tender. Just really good. Really good. So
like that.
Classic.
Yeah. Eat like a king who's on a budget.
Exactly.
I'm
gonna hit the direction of a classic barbecue food once again, and this one's more like for the adventurous dads out there. So we have a green egg smoker at my house. So we do this every once in a while, but really the one that I'm talking about is Mr. Augustine Rubio's smoked baby back ribs. He's got the full-blown smoker in the back. Actually, my neighbor Dale does them too. And he'll get the applewood smoke in there, have them going all day, invite all the fellas over, and literally we're just going to town on these things. Fall off the bone. Incredible, especially on a hot summer day. It's just one of the best things on the planet. A few years ago, I wasn't even a big rib guy. I'd say a few years, that's 5 to 10 years ago. And now I'm all back in on the baby back rib train, all because of the amazing work of some of these dads who their passion is smoking food. That is.
That's
number
fun.
2.
I would say now for number 3, going back to a meal, at my grandma's house, we used to meet up at at her house, sorry. She lived in New Jersey, so we would drive down there. And every Christmas and Thanksgiving, she would make this staple. She was Italian. She would make lasagna. Homemade
Good Italian lasagna.
It was to die for. The cheese, you know, the meat inside, the sauce, just everything about it was fantastic.
I mean,
I
that's an
love
outstanding
lasagna.
pick.
Oh, I love lasagna.
I don't have an Italian grandma, but that's one of those things. If I could go back in time and kind of like
Oh.
switch some things around ancestrally, I would give myself an Italian nonna to just put me into shape and bake some amazing lasagna.
She always had extra too.
Always had leftovers.
Love that. It's actually, I think lasagna is better the next day.
Well, here's the thing. There would always be leftovers for myself to take. During that night, there would be none left.
I love that. Love that. That's
That's a
how you
real
share.
grandma right there.
Yeah, right. So at my 3, I wrote this down just a minute ago. I wouldn't say, I would say it's like a staple in the Mormando house. We do a like an Italian pasta, or like a seafood pasta rather, with clams, shrimp, and spaghetti. Sometimes it doesn't matter what the noodle is, but it's pasta. And it's delicious. It's delicious. We have it. I would say at one point we had it every Sunday for probably 6 months in a row.
That's legit.
It slaps. It slaps. Yeah. So that's on there. Well, obviously you have some bread on the side, soaking up all the juices. A little bit of gravy, red sauce, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah.
Marinara sauce. Oh, that's a sin. No, don't say that. But so seafood pasta is what you're going with?
Yeah, but specifically with just clams and shrimp.
The Momando style. Like
Mormando style. Yeah, my next pick is nobody will ever get it because I feel like we're the only family that does this. But at the same time, we're not. It's just in a different way. So
interesting.
To find out.
Yeah, we gotta stay tuned. So my number 3, I'm surprised this fell to me because I feel like this is a staple in every single family. I'm kind of going to go back to the holidays because this is usually one that comes out around Thanksgiving, Christmas, but it's a year-round recipe, and that's a good old homemade mac and cheese. Now, I'm not a big mac and cheese fan. I'll be the first to admit it. But when you sit down and the entire family measures things out, plans it, portions, you bake that thing in the oven, you're working on it all day. Homemade bechamel sauce, cheese on the top, a little breadcrumb, all the fix-it. Maybe throw some bacon in there. Who knows? Whatever it is, it comes out outstanding every single time. And it tastes so much better because you can feel the hard work and grit that went into that mac and cheese. That's going to be my pick. Fridge family on top. Let's go.
That got me hyped, bro. Like
I've been doing that a lot recently. I think it's more the coaching where like I can make anything into a hype pump up speech now.
Let's go.
I get excited.
Oh. All right. I have my topic, my pick.
This is pick number 4.
This is number 4. And
Big 4.
When I was younger, I would watch my grandpa get it. I'm going to change it up a little bit, by the way. I would watch my grandpa order this, and I would always think, oh, there's no way I'd try that. One day I tried it, and it now turned to my favorite breakfast item. And it's always the best when I come home. And that's cream chip beef over home fries. It is a home. When you talk about home style cooked meal, like my area, like the way that they make cream chip beef and you put it over home fries, it's the best combination. You get a side of bacon. It is the best thing ever.
Interesting. The
I like
first time
that pick
actually,
a lot.
I know it's hit or
first time I
miss.
saw cream chip beef.
Not everyone's had it. Not everyone's liked it, but it's different. And I tried it one day, and it's by far my favorite breakfast item.
I've never had it over home fries, but I have had cream dried beef, and usually we do it for dinner at my house, and then like we'll have the leftovers the next morning for breakfast. I was never huge on it for breakfast, but I would always eat it with toast for dinner. like if that's what we were having for dinner.
Yeah, so you put it over home fries with a side of bacon, and it comes with a side of toast. So then I use the toast for the cream chip, but I think it's better when it's over the home fries.
So you call it cream chip. That's what you call it, shortenedly. Like to shorten it, you would call it cream chip.
Cream chip beef.
Like we would call it dried beef.
Oh, really? There's a
Yeah.
lot of names for it. Also, it's called SOS, which is shit on a shingle.
That's
But
a good one.
it tastes fantastic. So
It is good. I like it from time to time. I couldn't do it like all the time, but you know,
I'm not kidding.
whatever.
I can order it every day for breakfast. And be
Definitely not me. Yeah, my mom will be like, "Yeah, we're having cream beef tonight or dried beef tonight." I'm just like, cool. Like never something that's high up, but never something that's super low.
Yeah,
Right in the middle.
Yeah, that's an East Coast thing. Doesn't exist out here.
it is. I'm
And
sure it is.
I saw it for the first time when I was with Nate for Thanksgiving. I think his mom got it. And I just kind of looked at it and I was like, that's not for me.
It has good
try.
flavor. I put
Yeah, you
a little bit
gotta
of salt and pepper in it. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try one of these days. Like scrap.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, scrap.
Oh yeah.
So my 4 is this is another, like I said, more Mando staple. I don't know if we invented it, but we invented it. We call it messed up mashed potatoes. So what it is the one night we were making dinner and my dad, he wanted to make potato skins, but I forget if like the potato was too hot and it fell out of his hand, or like it was too hot and he just didn't want to deal with it and like have to make potato skins. So what he ended up doing was just throw them into like a casserole dish, kind of like mashed them all up with the skins on, threw a shit ton of cheese and bacon in there, mixed it all around again, threw it in the oven, and then you just scoop it out and put it in your plate. Messed up mashed potatoes. But gas. So good. You could have it with literally anything. It did. Mormando home cooked recipe right there.
That's up my alley. I love potato.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
So-
not like the mashed potatoes either. Like it's still like potatoes. Like you like
Wow.
still a little bit hard, a little bit soft. It's good.
I
It's
need
good.
that.
My next one's gonna blow your socks off. So
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat. Not gonna lie, when you said messed up mashed potatoes, I thought you were gonna at the end throw in a shot of like vodka, whiskey, or rum into it and just make like boozy potatoes. So maybe next time keep that in mind. Drink responsibly. But my 4th pick, I'm actually very happy with how my team's looking right now. This is a staple. Really, this was a lot that we did like during quarantine. We've kind of like slowed down with it, but every once in a while we'll whip it back out and it's awesome. It's just good old fashioned, get out the smoker, throw some fish on it, either salmon, halibut, whether it is, cod, whatever we can find fresh from the market. We'll go down to the one in Edmonds, straight fresh out of the water. You get that, whether it's king salmon, whatever it is, throw that on the grill, get some seasoning on that. You can eat it plain, you can throw it in whatever, and it is to die for. And it's one of those things that like you miss when you're not home, because like good seafood is hard to find when you grow up in a place with great seafood, and especially with how fresh it is. So farm to table, fresh caught fish, get that thing on the smoker and just let all the flavor come out. So that's my pick. Gotta love it.
Like it.
Love
So for me, I think a staple of mine would also be, this is also hit or miss when it comes to growing up. I didn't try it for a while. Then I decided to, and it's fantastic to me. And that's meatloaf. I love meatloaf. It is great. The way I would say the only time I have meatloaf is like when my stepmom makes it, or my mom used to make it. It's not like you're having it any other time. You're not going somewhere and ordering meatloaf. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a burger or something like that. So like when I come home and my stepmom makes meatloaf, I really enjoy meatloaf, and it's a staple.
I mean,
what about
when done well?
I was never a big fan of it. Why? No, I'm not like dissing you. but like, what's your draw? You just like it?
Oh, yeah, just the way my stepmom makes it. And like you put like ketchup and like stuff into it, and I really like ketchup. So I don't know, just something about it.
That's cool. I like that.
I wouldn't go
Making sure I know.
seeking it, but it's an acquired taste for people.
It
Yeah.
is.
My mother also likes meatloaf, so
I believe mine's on that boat as well. It must be a mom thing.
didn't pass the gene down. That's okay though.
We're not moms.
We're not. Corbin might be.
Contrary to popular
So-
belief.
Yeah, we don't know. So for my 5, this is something that I only actually had for the first time maybe 2-3 weeks ago, but it's something that has changed my life for the better. This product, this is what. Now I'm always saying it's home cooked. I can make it here. I don't have the ingredients, but I can make it here if I wanted to. Obviously, it's King's Hawaiian French toast.
Whoa. Hold on.
Exactly. So you make a French toast custard or mix, whatever people make, right? And you simply just plunk your King's Hawaiians and make sure that they're nice and soaked through. You know, throw them onto a nice skillet with butter, brown them on every single side, make sure it's cooked. I put a little bit of cinnamon sugar over top of it, syrup, caramel, whatever. Yes. So King's Hawaiian French toast, 5.
That came out of left field, but that might be the steal of this draft.
I needed some sweetness, and I think I capitalized with that. So
I would have to agree. You actually put me up against a pretty big wall because I was going in a complete different direction. So I'm going to stall for a second as I think about if I actually want to take this or if I want to go somewhere else and kind of think about other family recipes. Nothing's really coming into my mind right now. I guess I have an honorable mention. I'll pop up, but I have to go with this one because this is a shout out to my crazy Uncle Dewey down in Florida. And we call him Crazy Uncle Dewey because he's just hilarious. He's an absolute goob, but he was famous for his Dewey's potatoes. And we do it Dewey potatoes and veggies. It's Yukon Gold, red, and russet potatoes. You get the mix, slice them up thin, get them on the grill. You grill that with roasted veggies, and they just come out unreal, tender, juicy, whatever seasoning you want to put on them. They come. I, again, wasn't a big fan of this until recently when I kind of, got into my potato game, but now it's like a staple whenever we do it. It is fantastic. It's one of those things you can't get anywhere else. Like you can get roasted potatoes, you can get that stuff anywhere, but Dewey's potatoes, you only find that in the fridge battles and Messer households. And that is going to round off my starting 5 for home cooked meals.
because a second ago that was an honorable mention. I was wondering if that was going to be an honorable mention or if it was going to be your 5. So it sounds like a great 5.
As I talked myself into it, it's a great 5. It's just hard to go from Hawaiian French or Hawaiian roll French toast, which sounds
King's
amazing.
King's
Hawaiian rolls, the staple of a like takeout
Sweet
dinner.
bread.
Oh, you guys don't have
Yeah.
a Zell's. So reference, a Zell's is a chicken joint that's local around here. And whenever we would get it when I was younger, the highlight of the meal would always be like you get the tenders and it has a King's Hawaiian roll. And still to this day, that is the best part about the combo box you get from Zell's. All my Seattleites know what I'm talking about.
A chicken
that's
must
just-
be shit.
No, it's okay. It's good chicken, but like I'm a sweet guy at heart, so I like me a good Hawaiian roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. I try it, dude. Next time, like I would actually, if I were to go to the store, buy a thing of King's Hawaiians, just like a 6-pack if they have them. And then, if you have the ingredients to make French toast mix, if you don't, buy it. But it'll change your life for the better, like it did mine. I'm just happier,
The 2
You're
weeks
already-
since it's
Yeah.
just been straight uphill.
It's uphill. Yeah. And if if I'm feeling down, I buy King's Hawaiians and make some French toast, and I'm perfectly fine again. It's one of those
I
things.
love it.
Wow, that
All
was a
right.
great 5. Everybody had a good 5 right there. Corbin, do
Yes.
you have
Any honorable mentions?
Yes, I have a great honorable mention, and you'll know why I take it. Corbin, you wouldn't, but you should. My pancake donuts.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell the story about how this happened. I love telling this to my friends.
I can't like go into super detail, but I'm at my apartment one night and I'm hungry and I'm with my girlfriend and we just need some food and I'm out in the kitchen and we have nothing. Like we literally have nothing. But I see that we have pancake mix and I'm like, all right, like I guess I can make a pancake and start pouring a little bit of powder into the bowl. And I put a little bit of water and I start mixing around and I'm like, wait, I can try to make a dough out of this. And it's all in one mix. So it's just add water. So that's all I had to do. So I just start mixing a little bit of water in, mix around with my fork, get my hands in there, make it into a dough. And then I shape it, knead it a little bit. I knead it first, then I shape it. And at first they were just little like literal balls of dough that I was just like throwing in super small and shit ton of vegetable oil in a pot, just tossed these bad boys in and fried them up. And they were insane. And then it just kind of spiraled after that. And I started making donuts. I made what are those things called? Like a weave the one day. It was like I don't know, like 6-inch weave of fried dough. Yeah, a braid. Yeah. And it was delicious. And then I literally made like I flattened out one to look like a pancake and I fried it and it was insane. Yeah. So little life hack, a little bit of Aunt Jemima's pancake mix into a bowl, a little bit of water mixed around, make it into a dough. Fry it, put a little bit of powdered sugar or cinnamon sugar over it. Yes.
You gave me an idea there. Might not be a home cooked meal or anything, but one thing that reminds me of coming home and over the summer is when Music Fest happens, which is like a small music, like bands and like outside live music. There's food, drinks, stuff like that. And there's also like fair and food trucks there. One thing I think of when I do like fairs or food trucks is fried Oreos, deep fried Oreos.
Ooh, I've yet to have one of those in my life. That's on the bucket list.
And that's some good stuff.
Did you just hear fridge, Corbin?
No.
He's never had a fried Oreo.
What are you doing?
Not eating fried Oreos, I guess. It's on the bucket list.
He's 20 he's 20 years old.
With
He's 20 years old.
On top?
Fridgy the things.
Bro.
Oh my goodness.
So many adventures to have.
I'm just gonna shove them forcefully down your throat when you get here.
I'm gonna wake up with just Oreo crumbs all over and I'll be like, what was so delicious last night?
Oh, bro.
It was just me eating or just right over top of you. Yeah. With that,
my sleep paralysis demon.
Let's pull up our drafts. All right. So Corbin, do you have your draft written down? Do you have it by memory?
Oh man. No, I don't have it written down. My first pick was what?
You had that black diamond steak.
And then apple pie.
Yep.
And then
cream beef
was
cream beef was one of them.
Lasagna.
Lasagna, yes.
Then cream chip. Then what was my last one?
Shit.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Huge meatloaf guy. So I had cheeseburgers, flank steak, clams, shrimp, and pasta the Mormando way. Messed up mashed potatoes, which is just potatoes, cheese, bacon, gas. And then King's Hawaiian French toast, which will change your life for the better. Yeah. Bridgie?
We might have to have a family meal of just King's Hawaiian French toast.
That'd be cool.
But my picks, Grandma's shortbread cookies, Grandma's cookies in general. Shout out to Grandma Fridge up in BC. Smoked baby back ribs, Father's way, whichever way they choose. Good old Fridge family mac and cheese, the family recipe for every family, that is. Smoked fish on the barbecue, salmon, halibut, you name it. It's going to be great. Shrimp, got to throw that in, although that's technically a different form of seafood. But smoked fish, we'll stick there. And then Dewey's potatoes and veggies, roasted, juicy, awesome. My honorable mentions, I had Christmas crack, which is just a staple in every family. That was the one I was debating. I'm like, do I go wholesome or do I go general? I chose wholesome because it's, just more important. But honorable mention, Christmas crack. And then my other one is another Fridge family staple, confetti bars. It's the confetti marshmallows, like the different multicolored ones, melt them down, basically make it as if you're doing a Rice Krispie, but instead of Rice Krispies, you throw in butterscotch. And so it makes like these nice little bars that are just like chewy, decadent, sweet. They're awesome. Another Christmas special in the Fridge household. When you go up north.
That's
Dude, we had some good lists. We had some really good lists.
Great draft, I would say. Great job, Corbin.
Yeah, great job, Corbin. That was a great pick of what to draft. Very creative. So we give you the nod.
Let's go.
Round of applause.
Round of applause.
Any final thoughts, Mr.
W in
Carraghan?
chat.
Final thoughts? No.
Anybody that you want to shout out, like anybody at all.
My dad told me to shout him out if I had the chance. So shout out my dad, Mr. Carraghan.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
He's the man. He's been doing really good this year, racing and stuff. He's at every one of my games, supported me through everything. Yeah, he's the best.
Love that. Shout out to him. Bridgie, anybody in your life that you want to shout out?
I got to shout out Thomas O'Neill, guy who I'm coaching with, and Greg Earhart, CitySide 2028 coaching staff brought home the dub. Only up from here. We're going to go down and take over at the West Coast Showdown. It's ours to win and ours to win only. Shout out to the CitySide squad.
Love that. Yeah, my list is pretty short. The people that, they know they deserve a shout out. They know who they are, so I give them all a shout out. But in general, it's really just shout out Juulz, and I'm with Juulz. So
we are blessed by his presence. He's the only guy we all need to shout out. So everyone along with me, say it loud and proud.
Shout out Juulz. Corbin, thank you so much, brother. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you guys for having me.
Our pleasure. Can't wait to see you back in person. Shout out Juulz. Have a great day, everybody.
Adios, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, I'll be stargazing. I'll be up in the clouds, but I won't come down cause I'll be too faded. Everybody wanna walk that talk, wanna talk that talk like we made it. But they all gon' cap, swear to God I'll make the money right back. Bitches be trippin', don't know how to act. He just be singing, don't know how to rap. I really be running this shit like I'm Owen. She like a wave, I'm loving her motion. It's like I'm slipping straight up on the potion. Water be dripping, it feel like the ocean. I know that I'm different cause I'm from the other side. She's saying that she want me, girl, that's capping, girl, you lie. Everything I ever did, all I do is right. You could never say it, cause you switched up and you lie. Yeah. Had to switch up and you lie. Yeah, I'll be stargazing. I'll be up in the clouds, but I won't come down cause I'll be too faded. Everybody wanna walk that talk, wanna talk that talk like we made it. But they all gon' cap, swear to God I'll make the money right back. Bitches be trippin', don't know how to